Welcome back, learners. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Great. This is part 2 of our exploration of India's struggle for independence, and today we're focusing on Surya Sen, also called Mustarda,
If you're prepping for the UPSC exams, this one's for you.
especially the GS1 Modern History section, right?
Absolutely. Though, really, this deep dive is for anyone who wants to understand this pivotal period.
For sure, for sure. So, who was Surya Sen, and where does his journey begin?
Well, he was born in 1894 in Chittagong, which is now in Bangladesh.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is that he started as a teacher. Just imagine a teacher transforming into a revolutionary figure.
That's quite a shift. What led him down this path?
So in 1916, he joined a revolutionary organization called the Anushalan Samiti.
Okay, the Anushalan Samiti, what were they all about?
They believed in complete freedom from British rule,
Through.
active resistance, and they actually played a pretty significant role in the larger movement.
So active in the movement from a young age. And I read that he was also involved in the non-cooperation movement.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The non-cooperation movement in 1920 was a major turning point, This nationwide movement advocated for nonviolent resistance, and Surya Sen's participation shows his early commitment to the cause.
Right. That level of involvement must have attracted the attention of the British authorities. Right?
Definitely. His activism led to his detainment in the late 1920s, which, only fueled his determination even more.
Setting the stage for something bigger.
Exactly.
And that something bigger brings us to the Chittagong Armoury Raid. Can you set the scene for us? What was happening in India at the time?
It's 1930, and the civil disobedience movement is in full swing.
Right.
Led by Mahatma Gandhi, this movement aimed to challenge British rule through nonviolent civil disobedience, of course.
Okay.
It was a time of intense nationalistic fervor. And in the middle of all this, on April 18th, 1930, Surya Sen and a group of revolutionaries launch an attack on the Chittagong Armory.
Wow, talk about a bold move. Who were some of the key players alongside Surya Sen?
Well, there were several, but two names that really stand out are Ganesh Ghosh and Prithalada Waitadar.
Ganesh Ghosh and Prithalada Waitadar.
Their courage was remarkable.
So, what were their objectives with this raid? What were they hoping to achieve?
Their main goal was to disrupt communications in Chittagong.
Communication.
Yeah, they wanted to cut off the telegraph and railway lines.
To essentially paralyze the colonial administration.
Exactly. But also, they needed weapons.
I see. So seizing weapons from the armory was crucial.
To arm the resistance, prepare for a prolonged fight.
It was a strategic move then. Did they accomplish their goals?
Well, they were successful in disrupting the communications lines and even raided the armory. But there was a setback.
What was that?
They couldn't find the ammunition.
Oh, wow. That must have been a huge blow to their plans. Even with the setback, though, the raid itself had a powerful symbolic significance, didn't it?
Huge symbolic significance. They even declared Chittagong independent.
They did.
Yes. It was short-lived, of course, but such a bold move was meant to inspire others.
It's fascinating how a localized act like this could carry such profound meaning on a national scale. Did this raid directly lead to the formation of the Indian Republican Army?
While the raid itself didn't directly lead to the formation of the IRA, it reflects the growing sentiment for direct action. You see, Surya Sen, fueled by the raid's impact, went on to form the IRA, seeking to directly challenge British authority.
Through
Armed struggle.
Now we're getting to the heart of his revolutionary activities. This feels like a pivotal moment, but we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have. The Indian Republican Army, or IRA, was made up of dedicated nationalists.
Okay, the IOA.
Many of them were young, incredibly passionate about India's freedom.
It's amazing to think of these young people driven by their experiences. What was it about Surya Sen that inspired them?
Well, he had this charisma
Charisma.
and unwavering belief in the cause. He was called Masarda.
Masarda.
Yeah, it means respected teacher in Bengali.
Wow, that speaks volumes. A teacher at heart leading a revolution. So how did the IRA's actions affect the British Raj?
Their activities kept the British authorities on edge, that's for sure.
Okay.
They carried out these daring raids and attacks, constantly challenging the Raj's control. One incident that stands out is the assassination of a police officer
Oh,
named Craig.
Yeah.
In 1930.
okay.
Craig was notorious for his brutality towards Indians.
So his assassination was a big victory for the IRA.
A symbolic one, yes.
It showed that they were willing to take direct action.
Against those who represented oppression, yes.
It seems they carefully chose their targets. focusing on individuals who symbolized this oppressive nadir of British rule.
Precisely. It was meant to send a message, inspire others to resist,
Right.
but obviously these actions came with huge risks.
Yeah, of course.
The British Raj cracked down hard,
I imagine.
arrested and imprisoned many IRA members. Surya Sen himself was constantly on the run, evading capture, while still leading the resistance.
That must have been incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Did they receive any support from the general public?
Many Indians sympathized with their cause, even if they couldn't actively participate.
Okay.
They provided shelter, food, information, that kind of support.
A sort of underground network.
An underground network, exactly. It shows how deeply this desire for freedom ran.
Powerful testament to their dedication, risking their own safety to help. So, what ultimately became of Surya Sen? Was he able to evade capture?
Sadly, no. After years leading the resistance, Surya Sen was betrayed
Betrayed.
by an informant and captured in February of 1933.
Oh, wow.
He was subjected to a mock trial, tortured, and then hanged on January 12, 1934.
That's a heartbreaking end to a life dedicated to fighting for freedom. But even in death, his legacy continued to inspire, didn't it?
Absolutely. His courage and spirit became a beacon for generations of Indians. His story is still told today. It reminds us of the sacrifices made in the pursuit of independence. It's important to recognize figures like Surya Sen, who, may not be as widely known as Gandhi, but whose impact is undeniable.
It's crucial to remember and honor these stories, not just as events, but as embodiments of courage in this pursuit of freedom.
What's fascinating is how Surya Sen's journey and the Chittagong Armoury Raid in particular show how these regional uprisings played a role in India's fight.
Even if they were seemingly isolated.
They challenged British authority, inspired others, added to the growing momentum.
Like each act of defiance was a spark, and together they ignited a nationwide fire.
Exactly. Understanding these localized events is key. It wasn't just a top-down movement, you see. It was fueled by people like Surya Sen.
All across the nation.
All across the nation. This is crucial for anyone studying this period, especially those preparing for the UPSC exams.
This deep dive has been truly insightful. Surya Sen's story is a testament to the spirit that drove India's fight.
It's a reminder that even seemingly ordinary people have the power to make a difference.
It is. Inspiring to see how one person's commitment can have such a lasting impact. So, what are some key takeaways our listeners should consider, especially those UPSC aspirants?
One key takeaway is this. The path to Indian independence, it wasn't a single road. There were different approaches and ideologies.
Like we see in Surya Sen's journey.
Exactly. It's important to recognize this and understand why leaders like Surya Sen felt compelled to choose their path.
What else should our listeners keep in mind?
They should remember that events like the Chittagong Armoury Raid, they were powerful symbols of defiance.
Even if they weren't always successful.
Yes. They demonstrate the lengths to which people were willing to go to fight for their freedom. It wasn't just about winning, it was about sending a message, inspiring others, chipping away at the foundation
Of British rule.
Exactly.
Those are valuable insights. It's not just about memorizing dates. It's about understanding the why.
The motivations, the challenges, the significance.
It's about understanding the context. That's where real learning happens. This deep dive has really shed light on Surya Sen's extraordinary life. But we have one more part to go.
We do.
We'll be back shortly to wrap up our exploration and discuss the lasting impact of Surya Sen's struggle. And we're back, wrapping up our deep dive into the life and legacy of Surya Sen.
Such an extraordinary journey. From teacher to revolutionary leader.
It really is.
Yeah.
As we conclude, what's the one big takeaway we want our listeners to walk away with?
I think it's understanding that figures like Surya Sen, even if they aren't as well known, were absolutely crucial to the movement. Their actions, their sacrifices, their belief in the cause, it all contributed to the larger fight.
So while it's important to study the major figures, we shouldn't overlook these regional uprisings.
Exactly. They challenged British authority, inspired others, demonstrated the desire for freedom.
And for our UPSC aspirants, understanding this interconnectedness is key.
Right. It's about connecting the dots, seeing how events like the Chittagong Raid fit into the larger picture.
Don't just memorize facts, but think critically about why these things happened.
Whoa.
What motivated people like Surya Sen? How these actions contribute to the goal of independence.
Exactly. Even if they weren't always successful,
It's about understanding the context, the motivation,
challenges.
the long-term impact.
That's where real learning happens. Surya Sen's story also offers a powerful lesson about leadership. He wasn't just a fighter.
He was a teacher, a leader who inspired others.
He showed that leadership is about conviction and courage, inspiring others,
Powerful insights.
especially for those studying history, to understand not just the past, but also principles for today.
Absolutely. History is a source of inspiration, a guidebook for our world.
Well said. And on that note, we wrap up our deep dive into the extraordinary life and legacy of Surya Sen. His story is a testament to the power of human will, the unwavering pursuit of freedom. We hope you found this exploration insightful. Keep those brains buzzing, and as always, happy learning.